Well, 2020 is slowly coming to an end. It's time to talk about the best Netflix shows I saw in 2020. So let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you guys love to watch movies and Netflix like I do, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that notification for more up and coming videos. Ever since I made the decision in the end of 2019 to cover pretty much anything I could on Netflix, I watched more Netflix this year than I have ever in my entire life. I've watched so many Netflix series and movies, and some good, some bad, but there are some pretty good series that I did see this year. And so I'm going to give you my top 10 best Netflix series of this year. There's been a lot of great ones I just did not check out either that I've heard some pretty good things, like Queen's Gambit. Did not get to check that one out, but really would like to at some point. Before I get into my top 10, I do have some honorable mentions, ones that I really did enjoy, but did not quite crack the top 10. Honorable mentions include Medical Police, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 3, Midnight Gospel, Afterlife Season 2, The Babysitter's Club, The Duchess, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, Emily in Paris, and Blood of Zeus. So those are some shows that I enjoyed that you may not enjoy. Our list will probably be very different, but here are my top 10 best Netflix series. Coming in at number 10 is Dead to Me Season 2. Dead to Me Season 2 was a great addition to the first season. I really enjoyed the second season. I just watched the first season before the second season, and this continues the gripping storyline between Jen and Judy, played by Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini. It's something that I find very gripping. I want to see how everything is going to pan out. It's very mysterious. This dark secret that they're trying to hide, it manages to have some fun moments within it as well, some comedic moments from both of them, but deep down it is a dark series, but it ends on a cliffhanger as well, and I was so hooked with this season, and watching the first season right before, it helped me get excited for the second season just a little more. Now I'm really curious for a third season. I really want to see it and see what happens with this show. Coming in at number 9 is Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. This is a DreamWorks animated series that had 3 seasons in 1 year. That is truly remarkable. This is a great animated series with a storytelling that is worth watching. From having this young girl who's trying to find her mother and her father. She lives underground and then goes above ground and sees all these wonder beasts, these large animals. But the story turns into something that's very interesting and something where I did not really expect the characters to go. What happens to Kipo and her family always keeps me engaged with its storyline and its characters. There's a lot of development for the character, going from someone who's really unsure of herself to someone who's really confident, and that journey is something that made the show worth watching. So we have a great animation series that's really overlooked. The animation is beautiful, some of the best I've seen for DreamWorks, and it's a series that is worth watching for the story and the characters. Coming in at number 8 is The Teenage Bounty Hunters. This was a huge surprise. I thought this show was hilarious. Disappointed that it did get canceled after its first season, but the 2 teenage girls, these twins who know nothing about bounty hunting, get caught up in the bounty hunting world and try to be good at it. And the show's just so fun to watch. The chemistry between the 2 young actresses who play these twins is undeniably good. It's so fun to watch them interact with each other. The jokes are constant. They kind of dive a little bit deep into the characters and certain situations they have at school and their life and jobs. It's just not a straight up comedy series about teenage girls trying to become bounty hunters. It's a little more than that. Really disappointed that the show was canceled. Coming in at number 7 is The Haunting of Bly Manor. This was a series that took a route I would not expect for a horror series, but I really did appreciate what they did with it. It really focused a lot on the characters first rather than this haunting. It takes a look at these characters' lives and how they are affected by living in this manor and feelings for each other. There's a lot that really dives deep into these characters. And The Haunting of Bly Manor, I think, is more of a romantic drama rather than a straight up horror series. I really did appreciate how they ended the series and the route they took some of these characters, because it kind of moves away from the normal style of filmmaking that we see for haunted houses like this and offers something fresh, and I absolutely love that. Coming in at number 6 is Kingdom Season 2. This is how all shows with zombies should be made. This show is intense. It's gory, it's action-packed. The pacing shows that there is this urgency for everybody to stop these zombies. And I love how this show is filmed. I didn't check out Kingdom Season 1 right away when it was released on Netflix. I waited until the second season was released. Binging the first season to the second season, it was an entertaining time. I think there's a good transition from the first season to the second season, but this is a brutal show that is filmed so well. There's so much attention to detail, and the zombies are just crazy. It's action-packed. I love the pacing for it, the style of directing, and the characters too are really good. So all around, this is a really entertaining zombie show. Coming in at number 5 is The Tiger King. Tiger King is something that sparks something in the world that we did not expect. This is a straight up just bizarre, entertaining documentary series that really caught me by surprise, and I was so hooked on watching this series. This came out like right as the pandemic was going on and everybody was quarantined, so it was like, let's watch The Tiger King, and we watched Tiger King and him, the Tiger King, and all of his tigers and his lovers, and it's just, I was so baffled with everything that was going on, that like, this is actually true stuff, and that's just so crazy. But I think they did it in a way that was shining light on certain things and how animals are treated as well, and just the bizarre moments for the Tiger King. So I gotta give it up to the Tiger King this year for bringing the world together and having like one common series that everybody watched, and I really did like it. Coming in at number 4 is the last season of Bojack Horseman. This was split up into 2 parts. We got one part in 2019 and the last part in 2020, which only had about 8 episodes for this last season. This had Bojack Horseman kind of confronting his past behavior, coming to terms with certain things, and the whole series of Bojack Horseman is something quite different, because you don't expect an animated series like this to be so deep and depressing and honest and raw, and that's what we get for the last season of Bojack Horseman, is all of that coming to light for this character. A lot of emotion, a lot of realistic moments for these characters, despite him being a horse. I was surprised with how grounded and honest this show was, and it ended on a good note. It ended on a note that was true to the character, true to the overall story, and really kind of hit hard with some of the moments. There's a lot of emotional moments for the series. Crazy for an animated series like this, but it all really worked. Coming in at number 3 is Ozark Season 3. Ozark continues to be a really intense show from Netflix. A really long series. It takes forever to get through. But all of the characters in Ozark are so comfortable now and so confident in themselves. It's fun to go back and watch like the first couple episodes and seeing how character relationships weren't yet established, and watching it now, and how the progression in the story has really got out of control for them. And to think about where they were in the first season and to where they are now, it's a really, really strong progression for these characters. It's beautifully shot. I think it's one of the best looking Netflix shows they have. But with that, you also get a lot of intense moments, a lot of story development, a lot of character development, characters having a chance to really be themselves. There's some new characters in here that really grab the show and really capture your attention. You want to know more about them. But Ozark continues to be one of the best Netflix shows to date, and one of the best like gripping shows, intense, well shot, everything about it is so good. Coming in at number 2 is the second season of Umbrella Academy. This is another one that I didn't check out the first season when it did air, so I watched the first season before the second season, and the second season is just, it's a blast. These characters are so entertaining. They feel like a family unit, but separating them within the second season and then kind of slowly building them up together again was a smart move because you really get to understand them individually and their past and present and all the bizarre timelines within it. But it really takes these characters in a different way to make them really appreciate themselves, their abilities, and appreciate being part of a family as well. You also get a chance to see all of them working together, which is so fun because there is struggling moments between the family, and seeing them work together is something that you want to see, and you want to see kind of all unfold in front of you. It ended on a huge cliffhanger. I can't wait to see season 3 and what it does offer. Some of the characters like Klaus ended up being very strong in the series, and some characters took a little step back, but overall, all the characters got enough time to really make me appreciate them individually and then appreciate them as a group. But my favorite series of 2020 was one that was overlooked. It wasn't really discussed a lot as it came out, but it was one that hit on all levels, and that was Never Have I Ever. This is a series created by Mindy Kaling about a first-generation Indian American teenager and her struggles with school and relationships. This series was not afraid to be raw. Yeah, it was a series that I did cry at the end, and it wasn't afraid to be real and really break these characters down. And kind of when you look at the trailer and you look at these characters, you think, oh, it's just like your kind of average high school comedy. Yeah, there's relationships in here, but it really gets deeper than that. And that's one of the biggest things I loved about this, is that it was not afraid to be real and emotional and honest. And Davy, the character in here, is someone who's struggling a lot with herself, her identity, struggling with her family and her father's passing. There's so much going on in her life that it does feel like your average slice of life in high school and what people actually go through. And so I really loved how honest this show was, but also it made me laugh so much. The comedy in here is perfect. The series is narrated by John McEnroe and Andy Samberg. They do their best to make the show unique, and they offer their own perspectives on certain things in relationships, and it fits in well with the tone of the overall series. It did get renewed for a second season. I'm really looking forward to checking it out, but the first season was emotional, it was raw, it was honest, it was funny, it had so many things I loved about it, and it really did affect me after I watched it. I was thinking about the series constantly for weeks after that, and thinking that I have really not seen a series like this before, and how true it was, and how I laughed quite often at their situations and their life and who they are, but also did appreciate the characters in the way that they wrote their lives and relationships all within it. So Never Have I Ever was one of the biggest surprises for me on Netflix, and my favorite series of 2020. I think the best one as well. Make sure to leave your list down below. What is your favorite Netflix series of 2020? Make sure to leave in the comment section down below. And what are some series you're looking forward to in 2021? Stick around for more up and coming Netflix content. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.